everybody. Today we're going to talk about A Painted House by John Grisham. This is not his typical work. He publishes things like A Time to Kill, The Pelican Brief, The Firm. This is not that kind of story. This story was super cute. This was published in 2000, and it is about a little boy named Luke. Luke is 7 years old, and it centers around his family during cotton harvesting time in Black Oak, Arkansas. Referring to my notes as usual, you know I can't rely on my memory. Work with what we have right here. So this happens during the 1950s, and the little boy, as I was reading this book, I was like, man, he's a smart little boy for being 7. When I was 7, I was like, are we going to get some more crayons? I wasn't thinking about life, I was thinking about what we're going to have for dinner. Am I in trouble? What are my friends doing? That sort of thing. I wasn't thinking the big issue things that this little 7-year-old was thinking. There are social conflicts in the town because during harvest season, they have to hire seasonal workers, and during the 50s, in this book anyway, they were called the Hill People and the Mexicans, and that's what John Grisham calls them. And they come from exactly where they say they come from. So the family of Luke hires some Hill People and they hire some Mexican people, and they all work together. The whole family work together to bring in the crop. It is blazing hot outside, so this is like during the end of the season, like August, September, when they're bringing in the harvest, and it's crazy. It's crazy. And in a way, it reminded me of A Christmas Story with the way that Luke thought and how he saw things. A lot of it was through a little kid's eye. I mean, it was from Luke's POV, but there was innocence there as well. It was a very nice a palate cleanser. You want to read something that's just really sweet. Yeah, this is a really cute story, and I really enjoyed it, and makes me want to go find more stories like this from John Grisham if I can find them. Black Oak is an actual real place. I actually went and looked it up on Google Maps. There's a cotton gin that they have to take their loads to every day, and the cotton gin is really there. So it's like somebody, I don't know if John experienced this himself or how he figured all this out, but man, I was like, how does he know all this stuff? Like how much the bales were going for, the conflicts around town. There's a bunch of stuff that goes on in here. There's some intrigue. There's a big fat bully. So Luke's uncle has disappeared. He's gone off to fight in the Korean War, and they're waiting to hear news of whether he's coming back. So they're listening to the radio every night. They're talking about things on the porch every night, and incidences happen that may involve Luke's uncle. Pregnancy is involved, and that's the deepest intrigue. It's small town stuff, and it's so sweet the way it's told through Luke's eyes. At the end of the story, you find out that, actually throughout the story, you find out that Luke's mom would really like to move to the city. She doesn't want to be part of this cotton picking stuff anymore. It's hard work. She doesn't like living with her in-laws. I mean, it does talk about in the story that she doesn't really like her mother-in-law, but she deals with it. So Luke's family, his mom and dad and Luke, they live with his grandparents. Everybody gets along because they have to get along, right? So the mother-in-law and Luke's mom, they cook the meals, they do the mending, they do the laundry and all this kind of stuff. And they may not agree on everything, but they get along to get along because they all have to live in the same house. And they all have the same goal, which is to get the cotton in. You don't want to lose that cotton, especially when this is your family's sole method of income. So there's some incidents that happen with the cotton, worried about a flood. So there's a river that goes by this property. and they're worried about it flooding out. They're worried about raining and all of that. When it's a really hot day, that's a good cotton picking day because they can just go out there and bring it in. And they're all trying to figure out how much, there's some kind of little contest between the hill people and the Mexicans and Luke's father and his grandfather and Luke himself as to how much cotton they can bring in every day. At the end of the story, they all end up packing up. Well, not all. Luke and his parents get on a bus and leave, or I can't remember if it's a bus or a car, but they leave. So they're going to go live out Mom's dream of living in the city. And we don't ever find out, did Luke's uncle come back? Was he in fact the father of this baby that we find out about? There's a family that lives across the river that Luke's family goes and assists. They bring them food, even though they're very poor themselves, but they bring food to this family. With the earnings that they make from their cotton. So they help each other out. And this other family, they have like more kids than they know what to do with. And Lou's like, they got so many kids. So they take them food and stuff like that. And I want to know what happens with them. I want to know if they survive all of this stuff. They're not cotton picking people. So they're not out in the fields pulling cotton. I can't remember what it is that they do. But I liked that Luke was involved in helping out, his neighbors, seeing his mom pack up stuff for them, and they all get in the car and go down there, or the truck and go down there. Oh yeah, they have their grandfather's truck is what they get in to go all to town and go down to see the family across the river. But I want to know, does the uncle return? What's the fate of the family across the river? I want to know if the grandparents succeed, because their whole life depends on cotton picking and how much they can bring in every season. And I want to know if they succeed, because they have really bad years and they have good years, and this is a mediocre year. I want to know. And we don't get to find out, because this is through Luke's point of view, and Luke is in the car or bus with his parents, and they're driving off. He doesn't know, and there's no addendum to the story where Luke receives a letter from Grandma and Grandpa and finds out that everything's okay. It's just kind of, so it's a very bittersweet ending. Not really a coming of age story, because we're just seeing summer in Luke's life. And it's kind of nice, this family has their stuff that they do all the time. It's just a nice little break from some of the serious stuff that John. Why do I keep calling him Josh? Maybe because I'm trying to combine John and Grisham at the same time, which I do all the time. It's annoying. A break from the other works that John does, or a break from other novels, that if you just need something that's fun, refreshing, about a little kid, I recommend this. I came across it accidentally. I was at a book sale at my library, where you could fill up a bag, and with as many books as you wanted, fill up this big paper bag, and you walk out of there for $5 and you have a random number of books. And so I just happened to see this one, read the back cover, thought, okay, maybe I'll give this a try. It turns out to be like 5 cents or something like that. We stuffed our bag. The reason it's called A Painted House is because the hill people come from where the houses are painted, right? So they have an exterior color, and Luke's family, they just have a wooden house. They don't have it painted at all on the outside. And so because hill people, they have a little boy, he can't really work. He's kind of sickly. Luke thinks it's because he's trying to get out of work. Maybe, I don't know. But in the meantime, while everybody else is out in the field, this little boy is out there painting the house. Like he goes and he gets a whitewash stuff or white paint, and he's out there while everybody's in the field, and slowly it gets painted. And now they have a nice creamy white house. All the wood is covered up. And then they left it. Well, the grandparents still live there, So, yeah, it's a cute little story. Bittersweet ending, but I enjoyed it. I think I said that 15 different times in the video. There's some stereotypes about the different groups of people, but for me, I saw them all as hardworking people. I didn't have any problems with any of the people. I don't remember there being any kind of slurs in this book at all. The hill country come from the hills, and then when they're done, they pack up and they go back home. The same with the Mexican group of people that come and work on these farms. So yeah, it's not a bad book. Read it, try it out, see if you like it. Luke is a really cute little kid. So go to your library, check out a book, okay? It's much easier to check out a book than go browsing through bookstores and trying to find something that you don't even know if you're going to like, and you spend, $18, $20 on something and you're like, what did I just read? And bookstores don't really just, take them back, right? So go to your library, check out something, read a book, read something, okay? Anything, comic book, anything. Graphic novels, read it. Okay, get your brain working, get your imagination working, and it helps your cognitive, your cognitive skills, higher level thinking, critical thinking, and your vocabulary. You learn some new words, which is really cool. Now this one, I didn't have to have a dictionary with me. Sometimes I have to have a dictionary to get through a book, and that's annoying as all heck because it takes you out of the story while you're looking up that book or that word. But you don't need one for a painted house. You guys, leave down in the comments what you're reading, what you recommend. Maybe I'll pick one up and see. I might enjoy some book that you recommend. I might not enjoy a book that you recommend. But either way, talk to me down in the comments. What are you reading? What do you recommend to me? If you've read this book and you disagree, tell me. That's awesome. We can disagree. We can talk about it. We can disagree. It's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. Be kind to yourself. Be kind to each other. All right? Everybody's going through stuff. We don't know what it is. You might be on a cotton picking farm and you're working really, really hard and it puts you in a bad mood and you're exhausted every day. Be kind. Okay? There's no need to be rude, mean, inconsiderate of other people. Okay? Have a great day. Thank you for coming. Bye.